Hello, hello. Welcome. Going live with Dr. Tanaya today, and we're going to discuss genital beauty. Dr. Tanaya, also known as Dr. Cuterus, needs no introduction whatsoever, but she's a sexuality educator. She is a doctor, she is an embryologist, and she's a scientist. I'm going to quickly bring her on this live, and this is in continuation with the conversations that we've been having around whether vagina should be tight or whether they need to look or feel a certain way in order for them to be desirable. So, today we're going to expand that conversation to include other types of genitals and to discuss what exactly your genitals are supposed to look like, and why does this hyper focus on them looking a particular way exist? So going to quickly bring Dr. Tanaya online. Just give me a minute. There you go. Hi doctor. Just adding you.
Hello, I'm
well.
How are you?
Hi, how are you? Hi.
One second.
I'm good. How are you? I know that you were stuck in traffic. I know that you were a little frazzled, but thank you so much for making it for this live. We've been trying to make this conversation happen for a while, and I'm super grateful
first
to you
shoot
for
today, so I
sparing
was
some
really
time.
excited, and then I overshot my time. So it was with a friend.
Oh
it wasn't like
my
anything
God.
fancy. It was my
Tell us
friends
more
who were
about it.
photographers. We were just coordinating some headshots and stuff. And then I overshot my time like an idiot, and then I was like, oh my God, now I'm stuck in traffic, and I'm supposed to be there for my life.
No, fully understandable. Super excited about these pictures. Your wedding photos are so gorgeous, by
It's
the
those
way.
guys.
Yeah. I mean, as a approval emoji.
No, those
but,
guys are so good, honestly. Like, because our wedding was planned on such short notice, we didn't have time to coordinate anything. Like, it turns out people send playlists and people's favorite
Yeah.
films and all to give them an idea. Hi, Karishma's here. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I didn't do any of that. And these guys still pulled every kind of magic trick out of the bag and just knocked it out of the park. I'm so happy. But also,
Truly look.
But also, can I just stop and
really
comment your
looked
neck piece? I
magical.
love how cute it is.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's a present. But yeah, I think you are the most perfect person to discuss this topic with, because you've infamously gotten in trouble for advocating that genitals needn't look a certain way or anything of that. Yeah, that's it. That's all. But yeah, that you are extremely passionate about. And this is something that through your reels, through your content, you've over and over again told us that genitals are valid just as they are, and they will serve their purpose. So yeah, so super excited to have this conversation with you. And I think I want to begin with the most obvious question, right? Tell me, Dr. Tanaya, is bigger better? Like, solve this mystery once and for all.
It's not the size of the penis that matters, it's the technique that matters, and that's what most people find works very well. I personally believe, and also from all the data we've seen, very large size penises can be painful as well. So size doesn't matter so much. It's mostly about how you use that size and how comfortable your partner has a different preference. So let's throw that conversation out of the window. Let's throw that concept out of the window. Size, true size.
Yeah, and I think like the representation of genitals in a certain way in pornography, and or just like the conversations that I had, right? And almost like calling someone's penis small is like the biggest insult. And I think that's where a lot of this prejudice also comes from. But you've heard it from a professional that size does not matter. And it's really about conversation and communication and figuring out what people enjoy and what they don't enjoy. So yeah, I'm so glad that you sorted that out for us. Another question is, so this scrotum is so wrinkly. I mean, is that something that one needs to iron out? You see, again, a lot of folks asking if it should be tighter or if it should be shaped a certain way. People also DMing saying, oh, it's too big or it's too small. What are
I
you
think
to
that's a
say
really
about that?
important question to have because the scrotum becoming wrinkly and red is one of the markers of puberty. Because, sorry, there's a lag, or is it just me?
Yeah, no, I think there's a lag, but you're back now, I think. Yeah, you're back. You're back. Okay, no, now you're frozen. You were back for a second there. So we're essentially discussing the scrotum right now, and we're talking about why it is in fact wrinkly and whether it's normal. So I'm just going to wait for Dr. Tanaya to join us back. If somebody could tell me, Karishma is so funny, but if somebody could tell me if my internet is okay or if we should just maybe restart the live. Just going to wait for Tanaya to join us back. I think I can hear you maybe. I cannot see you. I mean, there's a picture that's frozen. Karishma, you're the best. But yeah, she's going to join us back, I think, in a second. And in the meanwhile, I'll talk a little bit about this scrotum, the little that I know. So essentially, yeah, I think Tanaya will just join us back. Sorry for this, the internet. Yeah, she's just going to join us back. So anyway, I was saying that the reason once, oh, okay, she's back. Is she? Actually, I'm just going to stop talking and we're going to just attempt to add her. Yes, you're back.
Sorry about that. I tried
No,
switching connections, but it just threw things over. So sorry.
no, this is perfect. We can see you and we can hear you amazing now. So yeah, you were telling us whether the scrotum the balls need to be ironed. Do they?
Well, short answer, no. Long answer, it's important to have wrinkly balls because your balls need to be cool. They need to be at a lower temperature than the rest of the body because sperm are very temperature sensitive. So the minute the heat goes up, sperm start dying out.
Mm.
And basically, what the wrinkly balls does is that does it do? Yes. And what it does is that, for example, if you look at the brain, our brain is very wrinkly. It's got lots of folds on it. So the vagina is the same. It's got lots of folds on it. And what it does is when you iron out these folds or you expand it, you get more surface area. And that's why it's important to have wrinkly balls because if your body temperature is higher, the balls can hang lower, which means you need more skin for them to go a little bit further down, which is why wrinkly balls rock.
Yeah. So, I mean, is this why when one has, fever, the scrotum usually drops down, or when it's really cold outside, the scrotum scrunches up and comes closer to the body to maintain the temperature, optimum temperature for sperm production? Great,
It's
like
4 degrees
dropping.
lower than the rest of the body. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, in fact, someone said pride of India is Dr. Cuterus. I have to agree. Um,
You guys, thank you. No, also
next
Pride of
question.
India is Apurupa. Have you seen how cute she is? Excuse
Oh,
me.
she is. No, say it like you would say it. It's not cute. What is cute?
It's cute
Say it the way
too.
you would say it. Oh, yeah, like that.
Big brain balls. Why can't I say big brain? Tongue twister.
Yeah, I also saw that big brain balls. Okay, next question to you is there's a lot of conversation around how like the vagina is supposed to be tight in order for it to be desirable, in order for it to be pleasurable, and like if it's loose it means that someone's had a lot of sex and someone is loose in that sense as well. So can you tell us a little bit about that, and also like do tightening creams and gels help at all with tightening the vagina?
Sorry, if I can just interject for 1 second. My mom is here and she's commenting. Wrinkles work as a thermostat mechanism.
Hilarious. That's perfect.
Okay, so basically, like I just mentioned, because there's lots of wrinkles in the vagina, it's the same thing. You increase surface area, and when you're sexually aroused, the vagina expands. This is how vagina is vagina. There is nothing abnormal about it, and this is how it should be, because um, in order for that expansion to happen, that expansion is very important for accommodating a penis. It makes things easier, it makes things comfortable, and that loosening happens when you're aroused, no matter if you've had sex for the first time or the 15,000th time. And by that same logic, if vaginas got looser from having more sex, wouldn't penises compress from having more sex? Like,
that is a brilliant point, right? Like, shouldn't they just chip away over time and erode and like as thin as a pencil? Absolutely, I fully hear you. So you're saying that that's actually important for the vaginas to then expand to be able to accommodate the penis or toy or fingers or whatever else you're using, and for it to be a pleasurable experience. So do these creams help? Do these gels help, like the stuff that you see in the market?
yum, yum, yum. How do I answer this uncontroversially? Fuck no.
Oh, how uncontroversial of you.
No, because if you think about it, it's so ridiculous that if you have sex with multiple penises, your vagina will become loose. But if you keep having sex with the same penis, your vagina will stay tight. How does that work? What does that mean?
Yeah. Clearly, it's moral policing more than anything else, and it's essentially policing of certain types of bodies and saying that having a lot of sex will make them less desirable. So no, I fully hear you, and thank you for clarifying this. The other thing that I've been seeing a lot is also just how we're obsessed with fairness as a country, right? We're all obsessed with looking fair and not going in the sun. I don't know about you, Tanaya, but like I used to get yelled at by my relatives growing up to not play in the sun, whereas the boys were allowed to play in the sun because they were like, kali ho jayegi, and that, as though that's a bad thing. And that same kind of obsession we seem to have carried to our genitals as well. So, if you could tell us why the genitals are darker than the rest of our body, and B, whether like fairness creams, etc., will actually make them fairer and will actually make them better at performing their functions.
So we'll sort of contextualize this in terms of anybody who's ever been pregnant will know that they get more pigmentation on their body. They get even pigmentation on their face. This thing is called melasma. Their nipples become darker, their genitals become darker, because what these hormones in our body, what they do is they produce more melanin, which is the pigmentation in the skin. So anytime you're going to have an increase in hormones in your body, you'll get more pigmentation. What is the first time you get an increase in hormones in your body? At puberty. Which means, then I'm dead. Which basically means that right when you hit puberty, it's a sign of maturity, right? That your genitals become more pigmented. And this is a very natural and normal thing. Now, on top of the action of hormones, anywhere you see more friction on your body, for example, if you look at the inner thighs where there's a lot of friction, if you look at the underarms also, there's a lot of friction in this area. So areas with higher amount of friction, even sort of this fold in the skin, you'll find it a little bit darker, because anytime there's more friction, there is something called post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, and just it becomes a bit more pigmented, which is perfectly natural and normal, and there's nothing shameful about it. And all of these creams that advertise, how to make your vagina fairer, you can't do that to your vagina. Your vagina is on the inside. Everything on the outside is the vulva.
Yes.
You don't need it. It's like saying that using this cream will, what's a very normal body thing? I don't know. Just tell me something really normal about our body. Non-controversial.
Non-controversial. Having hair on our body, is that controversial? Having hair on our body?
People tend to get it removed.
That is true.
It's like saying using this cream will stop you from having nails. But having nails is normal, right? Like, we all have nails. So if you pick up something that happens in all of our bodies and then you start marketing a cream around it or a lotion around it, it's just instant money making and it won't do shit. So yeah.
So, oh, okay. A lot of fake products, at least products which make all these fake claims, seem to exist. On that note, let's also talk about hair, since I did mention hair on our body, and you spoke about how, yeah, like lot of folks may choose to remove the hair on their body. But I'm really curious, why do we have hair down there, and why do we have hair on our butthole? Like, what, is there any reason for us to have hair there?
Have you heard of dingleberries?
Yeah.
So for the uninitiated, a dingleberry is when, say, this is a strand of hair around your butthole, and when you wipe your bum after you take a shit, sometimes parts of the tissue paper and poop kind of just
Oh, God.
like wrap around your hair, and then you get these clumps of like berry looking anus hairs. And these are called dingleberries. So please wash your ass when you're in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Okay, so why do we have hair around our genitals, around our, say, armpits and things like that? We don't know. We simply don't know. There's some theories, but the theories that are there are it's a sign of sexual maturity, because again, we start sprouting this hair when we hit puberty, when we're just becoming sexually mature, which is to let other people know that yeah, down for it. What is it? Down to fuck. We're not all down to fuck at that age.
Yeah, obviously.
But yes, headphones recommended, everybody. I'm sorry.
We should have, oh God. It's called genital beauty. You should have known. We did not beat about the bush, oof, pun intended.
So, where was I? Yes.
Yeah.
So one of the theories is that it indicates sexual maturity, and the other theory is that again it increases surface area. So a lot of things that our body does is all about increasing surface area and optimizing whatever little area you have. So if you get more hair, that means there's more strands that can be coated with pheromones, which help waft your scent into other areas. Now, the problem with this theory is that there's no proof that pheromones exist. And for the people who don't know what pheromones are these, in humans, hypothetical, but in animals, they are these chemicals or these scents that are released from our body when we want to indicate we're sexually ready, we're sexually active, or we're looking for a mate. So we don't have any proof if pheromones exist in humans, but one of the theories is that we have hair to increase how much pheromone is available. And the last theory that's there is that it just helps with friction, because
Correct. Yeah.
just thigh chafing 24/7 would happen otherwise. We simply don't know, basically, at this point.
Well, I don't know, just throwing a theory out there, it looks like we have hair wherever it's a sensitive part of our body, like our head, like our armpits, like wherever it's a bit sensitive, we seem to have hair. I'm just guessing it's one of those. And like you said, there's no real reason why we have it. So can we make that choice then to remove the hair, since we have been talking about, how things can be changed or altered? Like, is it an okay choice to make to remove our pubic hair?
Obviously, it's a personal choice, because your body, your choice. But in terms of, does it have any advantages? Does it have any disadvantages? There's really no advantage in removing it. The disadvantage is that you have to be careful on what method you're employing. You want to be careful. You're not using a rusty old razor. You're not going against the grain. You're not getting pimples. You're not, hurting yourself. You're not getting burnt by wax and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's completely a matter of choice. There is no faida, there is no nuksan. Also, somebody here called Insane Joe 3 has mentioned that it's just a first line of protection about pubic hair. And that's actually a very relevant point, because pubic hair can be very helpful in, again, protecting, particularly from things like lice. You can get, I don't want to use the Hindi word for it, but you can get joy in your pubes.
Same.
No, my mom's watching this. I can't. You can get joy in your pubes. So that's one of the ways of sort of making a barrier. But again, we don't know if it's true or if it's the main reason.
Right. In fact, there's a very interesting question here. Someone says how to remove your butthole hair safely. I think like with your, the pubes on your genitals in the front, you can at least see what's happening and you can be as careful as possible. Although like, cuts and nicks and burns are still possible because it is a sensitive area and the skin is different than the rest of our body. So, how does one remove that butthole hair safely? I think this is not a question that one should ask a doctor. I think this is a question for a dermatologist who are professionally trained to like be able to remove hair from sensitive parts of your body. But did you have any tips for this person?
Don't do it yourself, but also don't scar somebody else.
Yeah, I think like especially with if you do have a partner, I think it's actually okay to have conversations like this. And if these are your preferences and if you're able to have conversations around, hey, like, can you help me out with this? Or hey, can we talk about like what's working for us and what's not? I think it's a great place to start. Somebody did send in a question saying that they've seen people make designs with their pubic hair. And little mustache or a little bit of a shape, a heart shape or whatnot. Any medical advantages to that, doctor? Heart shape. Do you think it leads to?
I don't know. Maybe. There's also bedazzling where you basically can put jewels on your genitals to make it in like lovely little shapes.
Bedazzling. I love this.
So you can get like all kinds of stick-on jewelry to put on there that you can put in shapes and all of that. Interesting, since we're talking about hair removal, we can also talk about something called merkins, which are pubic hair wigs. And if you've just like just removed everything and you want like a little action happening there, you can get a wig on. So
or just like switch up, right? Like just like you would role play by wearing a wig on your head. I love this. I actually saw Reddit for the first time ever. The merkins, and I was like, this is so cool. I would love to own a pair for sure. But
there's a really interesting comment here.
Okay.
So somebody's saying, eat lots of momo chutney, next day all of your hair will be burnt, problem solved.
Oh gosh, I only. Does this person mean your butthole hair that we've been discussing? God. I think also since we are talking about, hair down there, I think another question that often comes up, like Dr. Tanaya, is hair around nipples, especially for folks who identify as women. That does cause a bit of insecurity. What do you have to say to them? Again, like you're saying, we don't necessarily know why we have hair there, but we're often advised to not tweeze the hair or to not plug the hair around the nipples. Why is that? And is it okay?
So it's perfectly normal to have hair around your nipples. One of the few surfaces of our body that we absolutely cannot grow hair on is the palms of our hands, the soles of our feet, and the nipples. Which means you can grow hair around the nipple, but actually not on the skin of the nipple. Or the areola, what we call in technical terms. So just as we have fine hair all over the body, we also have fine hair there. Some of these hairs become thicker, perfectly fine and natural and normal, nothing to be ashamed about. Some people get it waxed, but I personally don't recommend it because it's a sensitive area. So not only is there more likelihood of it becoming more painful, but also this is an area that is constantly covered with clothing. So it's never free, it's never open to the air, which means there's more friction, which means there's more chances of sweat and dirt getting trapped, which means there's more chances of your follicles getting infected.
Right.
Sorry. So when you wax, what you do is you pull hair out from the follicle, which means the follicle is left empty, and it's just like a little bhagona sitting there wanting to catch everything that can be there.
Yeah.
So if you can put if you can put, say, bacteria or sebum in there, you can get it infected.
Yeah.
Which is why best to let it be. If it still really bothers you, trim it. But other than that, screw it, it's fine. It's just hair.
Love it. Okay, I think one very interesting question. We'll take that and we'll end this really interesting live. Someone asks, should buttholes be bleached?
If you want to do it, but make sure you're getting it done by somebody who knows what they're doing. This is not a DIY project that you do at home. Because you can burn your butthole and then it's just going to be agony for the next few days, right?
Yeah.
And the butthole is a mucous membrane, so it's basically like the surface of it is like the inside of your cheek or the inside of your nose. So there's less protection there. That means, which means you're more likely to burn it. And you want to be very, very careful with how you're getting it done. If you do get it done, again, with a very safe professional who knows what they're doing, but who is going to part your butt cheeks to look at your butthole?
I mean, Dr. Tanaya.
If you're into it, good for you, but like, just don't be bothered by something very natural and normal, right? It's a low likelihood of that happening. Maybe say, okay, if you're getting a rim job, it's going to be once a week. It's not going to be every day. Yeah. And if you do get it bleached, you're going to have to get it bleached every week for something that's going to happen once in the week. So it's fine. Rim jobs happen in the dark most of the time anyway.
It just also makes the hair lighter. It's not like going to remove the hair. So I don't really, aesthetically, maybe if someone's into that. But apart from that, I don't really, like you very rightly said, there's no real advantage to doing that either. Okay, this was fantastic. Thank you so much for having this conversation with me and for busting so many common myths around genitals and what they're supposed to look like. Do you have any final words of wisdom for our audience? Anything, any TED talk about genitals that you would like to give them?
Your genitals are fine the way they are. It's normal for them to be dark. It's normal for them to be pink. It's normal to be hairy. It's normal to be pigmented. It's normal to be textured. And that's how skin skins. You know, everywhere you look on your body, there's texture, there's pigmentation, there's all kinds of stuff happening. So, like, why do you want to complicate your life, man? Just chill out. Genitals are cool.
Yeah, and they're going to serve their function no matter what they like, unless there's an abnormality that you notice, in which case obviously go and get it checked. But apart
from that, important point. That I should definitely have made as a doctor.
But do tell us maybe a little bit about, like, what is it that we should watch out for when it comes to our genitals?
So in terms of the aesthetics, if there's a sudden change in color, for example, there's a gradual darkening that happens, but suddenly if your genitals start looking red or white or just any change in color, you want to talk to your doctor about it. It can indicate an underlying condition. If you see moles, now you can get suspicious moles on any part of your body. You can also have them on your vulva, on your penis. You want to look out for bumps and boils. If you're getting them very, very recurrently, you want to speak to your doctor about it. And just overall check the health. If there's anything that sprouts out of the blue suddenly, you want to speak to your doctor about it. But, you know, at the end of the day, all variations that exist in our genitals, somebody's going to be into them. Some people like darker vulvas, some people like lighter vulvas, some people like hairy vulvas, some people like small penises, some people like massive penises, some people like bent penises. You know, there's like a whole variety of things we have and a whole variety of kinks we have. So we're all good.
Love that. Thank you so much. And thank you for being such an affirming, talented doctor. We need so many more doctors like you. But yeah, thank you so much, Tanaya, for making this conversation happen. And a lot of people have been demanding that we save this live. We are going to save this live. And yeah, have a great weekend.
And you too. Thank you so much for having me. It was
Thank
such
you.
a pleasure.
Absolutely. Bye.